I hope this goes well because I'm having some issues with my Pixio camera. It's a little bit confused now and then, and it won't record. So, welcome back to our series, Centauro series about Doma Vaquera and the principles of Doma Vaquera. I've been talking about those 5 basics. So we already did move forward. We did stop last time, and now, well, first let me go through the 5. So move forward, stop, back up, change directions with your seat and your leg aids, and yield for pressure. So I thought we could do back up because I keep mentioning that as third, but I actually want to talk about moving direction, because once you're moving forward, once you can stop, then you want to go somewhere, right? So, and that is actually super crucial when it comes to riding with one hand. So a lot of people I see, try to ride with one hand, or they want to learn that and they don't know where to begin. And I also see and have been teaching lately some people that do working equitation, and that's one of the things, they want to get further in their riding, and once you get further in working equitation, then you have to be able to ride with one hand. Now that's the reason why I always say if you ride Doma Vaquera, you can ride working equitation, not the other way around, because Doma Vaquera is based on a functional riding in the countryside with the cattle, with gates, opening gates, handling your garocha, all those kinds of things that are super functional. And basically for us, all the trail and working with the cattle, that's natural. I always say, when people want to learn how to ride with a garocha, I say, well, I can teach you how to ride, and then you just grab the garocha. If I teach you how to ride and ride well, Doma Vaquera with one hand, etc., then it's really easy to just grab the garocha and do whatever you have to do with the garocha, because the principles of Doma Vaquera is that you're one with your horse, hence the name of my website and YouTube, etc. Centauro. It's about being one with your horse. That's the most important thing. So there's 2 things when it comes to riding with one hand. Let me stay in the shot here. There's 2 things you need to remember, and you need to teach yourself and your horse. So one is how you give the leg aids. And I say leg aids, but it's actually leg and weight. So if you consider that if you're just going straight, you're looking straight, and I always like to give the example of working in the countryside and working with the cattle. If a cow goes that way, or a bull, or whatever, you look to where you're going. It's very intuitive, the riding, right? So then you see the cow or bull or whatever, and you follow it, and then you go like this, and your horse comes with you. Because what happens when you're sitting straight and you're going straight forward, your legs are evenly divided or dispersed on your horse. But if you look that way, what happens, I turn my body, and a couple of things happen. First of all, I feel more weight. So when you're sitting down, when you're on your horse, watch this on your phone when you're riding. If you do this, you turn your body, you immediately feel more weight on your inside seat bone. So in this case, I'm turning this way. This would be my inside leg, the inside of the circle. Another thing that happens is, and pay attention to that, if I do this, my left leg goes back. So I'm turning like this, and my left leg, this one presses against my horse, the inside leg, which is what you want because you want your horse to bend around it. My outside leg goes back. So, and your weight is following this way because you're turning, right? So those are the things that really, for the horse, intuitively indicate that you want to turn, because a horse will follow, because that's almost a little bit like leg yielding. So your horse is yielding to that pressure. My father trained trotters. Even with the trotters, you use the reins to tap them, and they'll yield, they'll move away from that pressure. So that's what happens when you do this. So first I'll try to do it with a loose rein to show you a little bit. So I'll try to do some little snakes and bends and everything, and watch my legs. So when I turn, you'll see my legs go back. So there's 2 ways of explaining it then. So either you follow where you're going, or I can just say, okay, if you want to go to the left, put your right leg back. If you want to go to the right, put your left leg back. It kind of works too, but you have to watch out with that, because if your horse is further trained and it's very well trained in the lateral movements, and you give too much pressure because your leg is back but not using pressure, your horse could move in a trafer, depending on how sensitive it is. So I'll step away and start showing you that before. I don't want my Pixio to stop recording, so we'll get right to it if you sort of will cooperate. So I'll use a loose rein first, just to kind of show that you don't really need the reins. So I have my reins like this, just like you would in Western, except there's a big, I have to explain that actually, I'm going to come back. There's a big misconception about Doma Vaquera because we ride with one hand, and the only other discipline that rides with one hand is Western, right? So let's get that clear. We do not neck rein. So that was the second thing I wanted to explain about changing direction. So first of all, we use our weight and our legs, whichever way you want to call it. And second of all, if I'm going to the right, I want my horse to look to the right. So if I want my horse to look to the right, I put my hand to the left. It's almost like if you had two reins, you would, engage your inner rein a little bit. So if I do this, Isolda's been taught that, and I use my inner leg, which is what you're doing when you're bending like that, right? You're using your inner leg. She'll do that. If I engage that one, she looks that way. So that's an important thing, and that's something that you have to teach using 4 reins. So next time I might do a second video kind of, or on another horse, on the horse that I use from one of my students, Cleo van Gorkum. Her horse is amazing. He has been Vaquera trained, but he's been confused the past year because the person who rode him didn't understand the principles of Doma Vaquera, I think. And I think they thought we do neck reining, but we do not. So if you're using your weight aids, what you also want to do is engage that inner rein to make sure that they're actually looking in the direction of where you're going, right? So you do this. But first I'll do a loose rein, but then you'll see that the leg aids are enough in the weight aids. Mind you, I didn't really get to warm up. And we have some challenges always with Isolda. She's always very aware of spots and lines and stuff, and it's been raining, so there's lots of stuff going on. So as you'll see, I'm looking this way. So if I look this way, see my leg, it's back. If I keep looking this way, I kind of turn my body, and my inside leg is pressing on my horse, my inside seat bone is pressing, and my leg is back. And I'm not really doing that on purpose, but I'm just looking where I'm going, and that's what happens. So I'll turn around, and then hopefully you'll see my legs change. And you'll obviously see my body change. So I'm going to the left now, and then I'm going to go to the right, and then I go this way, and immediately there's more weight on my right seat bone, my left leg goes back, and I'm moving this way. So you see, even with the loose rein, I'm not even doing anything with my reins. My reins are secondary. I only use my reins for tempo control, and I use them, like I said, in a minute I'll show you when I pick up my reins. I use them for tempo control, and I use them to get her to look in the direction that I'm going, and to get her to get more bend in her body. But I can go whichever which way, twist and turn. And I always have to have a little bit of a rein with Isolda because otherwise she goes too fast. But I could just loosen it like this. Let me see, I've never really done this, but I know she'll do it. I can also use no reins, except then I don't have any tempo control. Let me see. See, when I put my hind leg back, she's like a Ferrari. If you're used to, riding a tractor, Isolda's like a Ferrari. But it's the same thing, it's loose. I'm not doing anything with my reins. She's looking everywhere. She's looking to the right, and I'm moving to the left. That's fine. We like little counter bends sometimes to keep them loose and everything. So I always need to hold my reins with Isolda because otherwise she's going to go into the next gear, her being a Ferrari. So now I'll pick up my reins. And she already stops. I pick up my reins. And what you always want to make sure you do as well, when you're riding with the curve bit, is you always want to keep them soft. So you don't let them, it's not the same as you would with a snaffle, that you hold the contact and you hold this constant steady contact, because they'll go into that and they'll go against it. And then you get the horses with the big huge muscles under your neck. That's not what you want. So now I'm doing exactly the same, but now, see, I'm putting my hand more to the left, so she's looking to the right, see? So she's looking to the right, she's bending in her whole body, and my hand is to the left, and And I'm getting this beautiful bend, and I'm pushing with my inside leg because I kind of want to push her out so she's bending around my leg. And then I'm going to go the other way, and I do the same. I push her over to the right, and my hand goes to the right because I'm engaging that left rein now, because that left rein is my inner rein. So I'm getting her to bend around my inside leg. I want her to look to the left, and I'll do it again. I'll turn to the right. And actually, what I'm doing is almost, it's basically the same as you would do in a canter, in a flying change. You're getting them to change the inside leg. So change their bend. She's bending around, she's putting her weight on her inside right leg. Now she's putting it on her left hind leg. So, and what you should really feel, so, you know, once you've got the basics down, they're just generally going in the direction you want to. Because a lot of people I talk to, they're like, oh yeah, I can ride with one hand. You know, I can already do that. Now I want to ride with a gurocha. No, riding with one hand means that you can turn on a dime. You can turn on a dime with bend and precision, like I'm doing now, and you can control. You determine where you're going. And you can go exactly as small or as large as you want, whenever you want. I can make it bigger, the circle, but I can control that. I can keep it here, right here. That's riding with one hand. One hand is not just following the track of the arena, which is also fun sometimes to do, but you have to get the principles right. Your horse has to react to your leg, and it always has to react to your leg. So it has to know, and you have to be disciplined about it. You have to be so disciplined that if you're riding on the straight track and you go to the corner, that you make sure that you do the same as I'm doing now on a circle in that corner. If you don't do it, your horse should run straight into the corner, or walk in this case. So you should be so disciplined, and your horse should be so disciplined that it actually goes straight if you don't indicate that you're going to make a turn. But you have to be super conscious when you ride. You have to be very disciplined. But that's what Doma Vaquera is about. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like it's not fun or something, because, you know, I'm being a little bit strict. But that's what it has to be, because once you have that in your system, it's automatic. And then that's when you become one with your horse. That's when you're a Centauro. That's when you're a Centaur. That's when you're moving as one. And then when you're there, you just grab the gurocha. And I'm going with the gurocha. I mean, it doesn't matter if I actually have it. I'll ride with the gurocha sometime and show you guys. It doesn't matter if you actually have it or if it's not there. See? Now I turn around the gurocha. I can go under again. It doesn't matter. See? So that's what I mean. Riding with the gurocha is super easy as long as you've got your basics down. But you have to have that down first. It's like with anything else, you know. You have to walk before you run. You know, you can't go from you know, just knowing how to walk around or trot around to jumping a jump. You have to know your basics. And that's super important, and it makes it fun as well, because what's more beautiful than being one with your horse, having total control over all four legs. And what that comes from is working with the cattle in the fields, because you have to have all the control. So I could explain this in trot or canter, but canter, obviously you'd have to do a flying change, but in essence it's basically the same, like I said. So what you have to do first, big sigh, good girl, Isolda, you're doing so good. What you have to do first, as I explained, is you have to, you know, make sure the horse understands the concept. So if you have a super young horse, they generally will react to that, you know, yielding for your leg. But a lot of people are used to doing this, you know, they're used to steering like this. And I have to admit, when you have two hands, you know, 2 reins or 4 reins and you're using 2 hands, it's very tempting. But, you know, you have to make sure that your horse understands the concept of using your seat. And like I said, you have to be very disciplined with that. And then, like I also said, you have to introduce the fact that they actually, you know, yield also to the pressure of your inside rein. So when you do this, they actually bend, because otherwise you're going to get a horse, and that's what we see. I personally see a lot with working equitation. I see dressage riders, and they ride with one hand, but they're not riding with one hand like we do. Their horses are going straight because they're not used to, moving around your leg as much on such little aids. And what I also notice is when I ride those horses that are dressage trained, they need the support. They need the support from the reins, and you don't have that when you're riding with one hand. And like I said, you really don't have that because you have this loose contact, and of course you have a contact, but it's loose. You can't lean on it. You can't let the horse lean on it. It's a curb. That's not a comfortable thing to lean on. So you have to make sure that the contact is relatively light and that they're carrying themselves and they're not, using that for support. So this was a short one this week. I just wanted to explain those basics. I'm going to stop before my Pixio stops because my camera didn't have enough battery either. Follow me on Facebook. For those who don't know, I'm going to the championships in October. I'm going to compete in the championships of Spain, Doma Vaquera, in Cordoba. So follow us on internet, Parada Arraya. The TV channel on YouTube will be following everything. I work together with them actually, so they're amazing people. They're organizing it as well. So I'll be competing. Really excited because I'll be the first Dutch. I'll be the first American because I have 2 passports. I'm both. I'm half. I will be probably maybe the only woman, or maybe at the most there's 2. So that's really exciting, with the best Doma Vaquera riders in the world, because it's the championship of Spain, but the best riders come from Spain. So it's really, really exciting, and I'm super blessed and privileged that I can actually be there and that I was invited to compete. So follow me on Facebook. I don't know which horse I'll be using yet. There's 3 horses for me to choose from. Latino, my big friend that most of you probably have seen. Last time I was in Spain, I rode this beautiful gray brown mare. She reminds me a lot of Isolda. She's super sensitive. She's like, if Isolda's a Ferrari, she's a Lamborghini. I absolutely love her. And then there's another horse I'm going to try out. He's a young horse, and I think he's probably somewhere in between Latino and Isolda. So we'll see. Really exciting stuff. I'll be going there for 2.5 weeks training, so I'll be posting videos about that as well. Maybe not right away from Spain because we don't have Wi-Fi in the stable, but for sure after that, and otherwise short videos I'll be posting on my Facebook. Also check out the event on my Facebook. I added it as an event, so I'll be communicating some information through that as well, and trying to bring you along on my journey. I'd actually like to know everybody's opinion, so I'll be doing videos of those 3 horses and ask for your opinion. My favorite right now is the brown mare, but let's see what you guys think. So I'm very curious. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Make sure you stay up to date with all the fun stuff that we do in Doma Vaquera. Broadcasting to you in English because there's not any information in English. So I hope to, spread the gospel of Doma Vaquera and get everybody enthusiastic about this amazing, riding discipline that we really want to spread outside of Spain, because it's a shame that not more people can actually enjoy it than mostly just the people in Spain and a couple other countries like France and Italy. So stay tuned. Let me know if you have any questions or comments below. Do subscribe, follow me on Facebook and Instagram and everywhere else. And I hope to see you soon. Enjoy, and I love talking to you guys. Thank you very much.